Welcome to Smart and Easy English. My name is Ben. I'm American and a native speaker from California. If you want to speak English natively and naturally, you're in the right place. You have found your channel. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks. The Dance. In the heart of Vermont's picturesque landscape, the town of Stowe exuded a charm that drew Emily, Anna, and Mia to its embrace. The sisters, Emily with her gentle demeanor and Anna, vibrant and spirited, along with their ever-optimistic friend Mia, ventured into a new chapter as they moved into an old house on Maple Street. The home, a relic from a bygone era, stood with its facade faded and windows that gazed out like weary eyes. As the trio embarked on renovating this time-worn abode, they peeled away layers of history, stripping the rooms of their ancient carpets. The work was arduous. Dust particles danced in the shafts of light streaming through the windows, and the scent of old wood and musty fabric permeated the air. Underneath the worn carpets, they uncovered a peculiar sight. Newspapers, aged and brittle, lined the floor like a forgotten tapestry of times past. The most startling discovery, however, lay in the hallway. An old local newspaper, its edges frayed and yellowed with age, displayed a photo that captured a moment frozen in time. Young Emily and Anna, radiant in their dance costumes, beaming with the innocence of childhood at a dance competition. The sisters, now in their 20s, were engulfed in a wave of nostalgia. They reveled in the joyous memories, eagerly sharing their find on social media, unaware that this innocent act would stir something sinister from the depths of forgotten days. The first nights in the house were filled with the typical strangeness of a new home, but soon Emily began to notice something different, unsettling. Whispers that rustled through the darkness of the night, as if the walls themselves were murmuring secrets. At first, she dismissed it as the creaking of an old house settling. Yet, the whispers grew more distinct, a soft, eerie murmuring that seemed to beckon her. Anna, too, found herself entangled in the house's growing malevolence. Her treasured dance trophies, symbols of joyful triumphs, were inexplicably found toppled over each morning, as if displaced by unseen hands. Mia, initially skeptical, could not ignore the persistent cold drafts that meandered through the rooms, carrying with them a feeling of being watched by unseen eyes. The once inviting space of the house began to morph into an oppressive cocoon, shrouding the trio in an air of foreboding. Shadows flickered at the periphery of their vision, elusive yet unnervingly persistent. The feeling of an unseen presence became a constant companion, its gaze almost tangible upon their skin. One chilling evening, as they gathered in the living room, seeking solace in each other's company, the television sprang to life on its own. The screen, filled with static, gradually cleared to reveal a scene that sent shivers down their spines. It was the dance competition from their childhood, but tainted by a sinister addition, a dark, indistinct figure in the background, its gaze fixed upon the young sisters, its features obscured yet emanating malevolence. Sleep became a fleeting luxury as the haunting escalated. Objects seemed to move with a mind of their own. Doors slammed shut without provocation. The air would occasionally turn frigid, sending shivers down their spines. The whispers evolved into disembodied voices, speaking in an unintelligible language that dripped with malice. Desperate for answers, Emily, Anna, and Mia Googled old news archives, seeking to uncover the history of their eerie residence. Their search led them to a haunting story that sent chills down their spines. Decades ago, the house had been home to a renowned dance instructor, Elijah Thomas. Known for his exceptional talent and strict discipline, Elijah was a pillar in the local dance community. However, beneath his polished exterior lurked a tormented soul. Elijah, it was revealed, harbored an obsessive love for a young dancer, Isabel, who was a rising star under his tutelage. His affection, however, was unrequited, leading him down a path of unbridled jealousy and madness. When Isabel fell in love with another dancer, Elijah's passion twisted into something dark and malevolent. One fateful night, consumed by his rage and despair, Elijah confronted Isabel and her lover in this very house the girls now occupied. In a fit of madness, he took the life of the young man before Isabel's horrified eyes, with a single gunshot to the forehead. The tragedy culminated in Elijah taking his own life, his spirit forever tethered to the scene of this despicable act. The dance competition in which the sisters had participated as children were ironically the same event where Isabel had first caught Elijah's eye, making the house a vessel of his undying obsession and rage. His revelation cast a sinister shadow over the discovery of the old newspaper. It was not merely a coincidence, it was a trigger that awakened Elijah's restless spirit, reigniting his twisted passion and fury. As the reality of their situation dawned on them, the trio realized that they were living in the epicenter of Elijah's eternal torment. The house had become a prison for his vengeful ghost, a place where his malevolent presence was doomed to reenact as his tragic downfall. The haunting they were experiencing was a manifestation of Elijah's undying rage and despair, and a curse born from his heinous deed and unrequited love. Realizing they were ensnared in a supernatural vendetta beyond their understanding, they sought the aid of a local medium. She sensed a potent, dark force, a spirit ensnared in anguish and tied to the sisters' own past. The childhood dance competition had inadvertently become a catalyst, awaking the dormant specter. A cleansing ritual was attempted, but it only served to enrage the spirit further. The house became an arena of conflict, with the sisters and Mia caught in the eye of a tempest, of spectral fury and vengeful echoes. And with no other recourse, they resolved to face the malevolent entity head-on. They recreated the dance from their childhood, hoping to appease or perhaps communicate with the tormented spirit. As they moved in unison, the atmosphere crackled with a strange energy, the spirit manifesting before them in a whirl of shadow and despair. In a courageous act, Emily addressed the spirit, her voice a blend of empathy and resolve. She acknowledged its suffering, but implored it to seek peace, to let go of the shackles of its tormented past. The following morning dawned with a newfound tranquility. The oppressive presence that had once dominated the house had dissipated, leaving behind a serene calmness. It appeared that their confrontation had quelled the spirit, offering it the solace it had been denied for so long. As they repaired the remnants of their ordeal, a new newspaper clipping emerged, one that celebrated the life and achievements of the dance instructor, rewriting his legacy from one of tragedy to one of respect and remembrance. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you liked this video, please support it and this channel by giving this video a thumbs up. Also, please hit that subscribe button, and remember, enjoy the journey. See you next time.